What's up, PML? It's Mally Rojo, Falcons user, and I'm going to do a rookie watch for week 1. What I'm going to do is just kind of look at the top 5 rookie performances from the first week, and then probably take a look at some honorable mentions. Weren't quite good enough for the top 5. In no particular order for the honorable mentions, but we'll kind of go through 1 through 5 of the rookie performances. This is just my opinion. But yeah, so let's check it out. Get into the stats here. Okay, so I kind of already got my picks set up. Let me just get to the alright, for my first one, and just a heads up, some of the stats might be inflated because I did this right after week 1 advance, and a couple players like Seahawks played their game with the Titans, and I think the Rams and the Lions are playing right now, and so their stats are tracked already. So like Josh Rosen, he's already had a second game, but none of those guys from either of those teams are on my list, so it shouldn't affect that. But just right down here at number 4 is my first pick for rookie performance, and that's Mark Torres. He had a big game, and the Jags won that game, and over 300 yards in a debut. I mean, couldn't ask for more. He did throw 2 interceptions, but I mean, in this league, tough defenses, it's not uncommon to throw a couple interceptions. It's really hard to keep that. There's only a few upper level guys like Chiefs, Ravens, Browns. Those guys have really good touchdown interception ratios, but I mean, in this league the users are so good that it's not uncommon to see a couple interceptions. But he still got it up there with 2 touchdowns, over 300 yards, 94.1 QB rating. So I went ahead and made him my number 1, and he won the game for him too. So that's big for a rookie in your first game. So kudos to the Jags, and Mark Torres seems to be a steal of the draft, man. He's looks like he might be a stud for him. And then let's go over to my second one. We're going to check out the defense. And we got Dorian Etheridge for the Vikings. He had a really good game. 6 solo tackles, 3 assists, 9 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, and 1 interception. So he was kind of doing everything. He was helping getting some tackles, getting some solo tackles, getting in the backfield, and he got a sack too. And he was still able to get an interception. And he was playing against a really good user. I mean, the Seahawks, he's really efficient when he plays. He likes to run the ball, and then he kind of just picks his passes when he has to. And he's usually really good about being very efficient, but the Vikings did really well against him, got 4 interceptions. He ended up losing that game, but he still played very well. And Dorian Etheridge looks like he might be a stud. He's got the speed. The Vikings definitely likes to use him, as you can see, so he should be a standout guy the rest of the season. I thought about even putting him at number 1, but since the Vikings user came out and said he was number 1, I just couldn't do it. He was being too cocky about it. So I had to bump him down 1. Give Mark Torres a nod. Alright, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is, I didn't want to try not to put him too high. He had a good game, but it's my guy, so I didn't want to. And some of these stats are inflated, like Houseman. He's a rookie, but most of those stats right there from his second game. So you might see him on the week 2, but just keep in mind that some of those guys from the Seahawks, those stats are inflated right now. But my number 3 is my guy, Velus Jones Jr. He had a pretty big game, 4 catches for 115 yards, and he got a touchdown. He had a lot of run after catch. I mean, as you can see, only had 4 catches, but had over 115 yards. But one was a 76-yard play where I got him on a crosser, and he was able to spin move away from the defense and take it to the house. So he had a lot of run after catch. 73 of those yards was run after catch. So yeah, he had a really good game, and he was really effective, especially with I needed a rookie to step up because I'm down 2 wide receivers right now. Calvin Ridley is on a suspension Raming is on suspension, and that's my speed guy. And Velius Jones Jr., he's got the speed, man, 93 speed, and it really helped to have him. So he made number 3 on my list this week. And then for number 4, let's go back to defense. And let's see. Sorry, let me track him down here. Who was it? Here we go, right here. Amari Burney, the rookie from for the Panthers. He had a pretty good game. He had 8 total tackles, 6 of them solo, 2 of them assists, a tackle for loss. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, it was kind of unexpected, and he did it on only, the big thing that I saw was that he did it only on 34 downs. I mean, most of your other guys that got 8 tackles, they're up here 50, the lowest 39, most of them in the 50s and 70s to get that amount of tackles, and he's up there pretty high, and he was able to get one for a loss. So we can expect good things from him, and if that count goes up on the downs played, it looks like he'll be effective in the future for the Panthers. Let's move on to my 5th one. We're going back to the receivers. Oh, shoot, I keep forgetting I gotta go to the yards here. So our 5th guy here is Tyrell Shavers, the beast out of the draft, 6'6", and this dude's got speed. I mean, a lot of people around the league are saying that he's like Randy Moss Jr., so that's high praise. And in his first game, he had only 3 receptions, but he was able to turn him for 97 yards. No touchdowns, but it looks like with his skill set that he has, if the Jets game plans for it, this guy could break out every game. But they also got Julio Jones there, so there is a lot to spread around there, but he should be a big player for them in the future. And if he can do 97 yards on 3 catches, they get him more involved. You could be seeing a lot of touchdowns and yards for this guy this year. So that's the top 5 there. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like this video, I'll do more of them, but we'll also do some, I'll pop over and do some honorable mentions real quick too. These are in no particular order here, just some guys I noticed that had some decent games, and guys to look out for. So since we're right here in the wide receivers, we'll pop down to the Jags. We mentioned Mark Torres' big game, but he had a rookie wide receiver over there as well who had a pretty decent game. 4 catches for 81 yards. He didn't get any touchdowns, but looks like Philip Howard is going to step in and have a role there. So look out for him, see how his production goes in the future. Do I have any more wide receivers? No. We're going to move over to the quarterbacks. So the Vikings has got a lot of young players, so he got a few guys in here. He had one in the top 5, and he's got a few here in the honorable mentions. The first one of them being the quarterback Josh Jackson. He did throw 3 interceptions, but it's against one of the better defense in the leagues. Like I said, a lot of these guys have good users, so throwing 3 interceptions isn't too crazy. And we're talking about he played the Seahawks defense that last year had single-handedly with his middle linebacker, I think he had more interceptions with that one linebacker than my whole damn team did. So of course he's got a good user there. I think that was with Griffin, and he's only got one hand. So so yeah, that's a tough defense. So throwing 3 interceptions is nothing crazy, and he still was able to get 2 touchdowns. He had 252 passing yards. And he was able to get some work done on the ground too. I'm not going to pop over there, but I think it was around I think he got 25 yards on the ground as well. And he can move, so, and the Vikings says this is his guy, so in the future we'll see what he does. And if he's already doing pretty decent against the Seahawks defense, that's a good sign. So he should be better in the future. Sorry, my mouth's getting a little dry. Let me get a sip of this water. I did have one other quarterback I wanted to bring into it. Let's see where he's at. Now, he didn't have a crazy amount of yards or even passes for that matter. But Jawan Pass for the Broncos was really efficient. He had a QB rating of 137.4. Threw a touchdown, no interceptions, only had 186 yards, but like I said, he was really efficient. So if he gets more volume and he can stay that efficient, almost 70% completion, we should see big things from him. So we'll see how in the future he does if he gets more volume, if he can keep up that same efficiency. He was also playing the Raiders, so not the toughest of defenses, but I don't want to sleep on him. He didn't get to play a lot of games last year, so I don't know how good the user actually is. He could surprise us, and he did have a big game with Daniel Jones, the Raiders. So he's got OBJ. But sorry, I'm getting off topic there. Anyways, let me go back to these rookies. So that's it for the quarterbacks. Let's move on to, there's a couple running backs. Let's see. We didn't have really any crazy performances by rookies in the running backs. But there was a few guys. Right here, the first one was Britton Brown. Only 10 carries for 58 yards, but it's a really good average on only 10 carries. That's 5.8 per carry, and he was able to get a touchdown as well. Broke some tackles. So looks like, I know we don't have a Giants user right now, so that's just the CPU there, but he was able to get it done, so we got to give him his recognition. He was able to get in the end zone. One of the few rookie running backs to do so. Let's see. And just a couple down is the other rookie, Alex Barnes from the running backs. He also only had 10 carries, but close to the same thing there. Almost the same thing, just 1 yard difference in the average and the total yards. Only difference is Alex Barnes wasn't able to get into the end zone, but they had a similar performance there. So we'll see how. Looks like he's got at least a role there with the Bears. So we'll see how he does in the future. Nothing crazy this week, but he was able to do 5.7 per carry, and that's not a bad thing. Do 5 yards a carry, almost 6. You'll be in good shape. And let's see, there was one more. Tony Jones Jr., he was the other one I had on my list to look out for. He didn't have a crazy performance. He was 12 for 38. That's only 3.2 per carry. But the reason why he kind of snuck onto my list is because he had some receiving work too. He was one of the rookie running backs that had a pretty good receiving game. On top of the 38 yards rushing, I think he had another about 36 yards receiving, which we can check that out. I think it was 36. So combined, he had about 68 yards. So again, nothing crazy, but we're just checking out these rookies and seeing what they could potentially be, and he is getting some usage there. So especially in the passing games, it seems. Was it 30? Yeah, about 30 yards. Let's check it out. See if I was. No, it's close. Am I crazy? Or I miss him? Oh, there he is. So he had 4 for 32. So yeah, he's getting some passing work too, so I thought I'd bring him up as someone to look out for. He's getting passing work, and he seems to be an all-around back for the Lions and one of the go-to guys, so we'll see where he goes in the future. Let's see. What else did I have? So that was it. That was all my honorable mentions and all the top 5 rookies. Think about doing more of these if you guys enjoy them, so just let me know if you guys like it. If there's anything you want me to do different, just give me a heads up. Criticism helps, so just let me know. But that's it for the rookie watch.